Hey guys, get ready with me while I talk about media that changed my life forever. No, but really, I'm just doing my hair, and I figured since this is a tedious task, it's gonna take forever for me to do, why not do something entertaining and talk about stuff that changed the trajectory of my life forever. I just stayed at home a lot as a teenager. I never really went out, and so my best friend was literally the internet. This bottom section of my hair, I'm not really going to be like going full effort because it's the bottom of my hair and like no one really cares about that. Some of this shit is like actually so transformative to the point of no return basically. If these things never came to my life, I don't know if my life would be the same. Let's start with the album of the decade for me, which is none other than Control by SZA. So when Control came out, it was 2017. You could not tell me that that didn't come at the perfect time, because in 2017 I turned 20 and she had a song called 20 something. So it was kind of like she was priming me for what's about to come. The stuff that she had written for that album was crazy work because of how raw and emotional, but also relatable and silly and smart, and like it was just, I have never felt so seen in my life. And I think it just comes from a lot of her experiences in life, which is again so crazy to me because we are not the same person obviously, but how is she able to like relate things so much, even from like someone like me who is completely not in the same wow, it was so moving, honestly. Like, how you gonna tell me that 20 something wasn't made for me? Like, what? Or like Normal Girl was my jam back in 2017. It really like hit the spot. Like, I really was feeling some type of way, like very insecure about what life is gonna be like. Also, I cry every single time Drew Barrymore is played. Why is it so hard to accept the party is over? You came with your new friends and her mom jeans and her new Benz, and she's perfect and I hate it. One of my favorite things to do is to go on YouTube and search up people listening to Control for the very first time, like videos of people listening to the whole album in full for the first time, because I love seeing the reactions, because it's like honestly all of them are the same. I haven't seen anyone say anything bad about Control. Sometimes I wish I could get rid of Control in my mind so that I can listen to it for the very first time, because the magic is just different, you guys. The next album that I want to talk about that changed my life was literally Channel Orange. I actually have 3 of Frank Ocean's albums written here on my little thing. And I said discovering Channel Orange, then Nostalgia Ultra, and then Blonde in that order because of Forrest Gump changed my life. Talk about a butterfly effect. I was in this class called US History, and one of the activities that we had for that class was we had to learn about like World War II and how America, how America was involved and all that stuff. And for a fun like little activity, our teacher made us watch Forrest Gump. And at first I didn't really care much about the people's lives at that point. I was watching it because of like, the history behind it, even though obviously the history in Forrest Gump is fictional. Some of those things are, heavily edited to make it seem like Forrest Gump was the reason for rock and roll music, or how like Elvis Presley found his like signature dance move. Frank Ocean actually dropped Channel Orange. Now, there was a song in Channel Orange called Forrest Gump, and I was curious because I had just watched Forrest Gump. Okay, I'll take a listen. Maybe I'll, check out the rest of the album after if I like it. Because I also liked Super Rich Kids, because people would make Gossip Girl edits with that song. So I was like, okay, I'll take a listen. And I listened to Forrest Gump, and you guys, I cried my ass off. Like, that summer, that was the only album that I was listening to on repeat, because I don't even know why, but like, hearing the song Forrest Gump made me rewatch Forrest Gump a bunch of times during that summer, and it became my favorite movie. And I am an avid Jenny supporter. I will always support Jenny, even though her character is very flawed. And I read somewhere that Frank Ocean wrote the song in the POV of Jenny. And it was also during the time when people were, speculating about his sexuality, and everyone's like confused, like, why would he write a song about Forrest Gump in the POV of Jenny? Like, is he gay? But I didn't know that Frank Ocean was like that. I didn't know that he, I was not aware of Frank Ocean's lore, so I dived way deep into it, and I really got into it, and all of his songs now became so relatable and so just like magical almost. I feel like that's the word that I'm gonna keep using for all of these things, because it really was so transformative. Like, how can you even explain that? So back then we didn't have Spotify. We only had SoundCloud, YouTube, Pandora, so all those like radio apps, and 8-Tracks. So if you're a Tumblr kid, you would know what 8-Tracks is. But if you don't know what it is, it's essentially like a website where you can make playlists of music that you can find everywhere. So some people would curate it solely off of like SoundCloud, or some of them would go to like, some of them would have Bandcamp on it, and then you could also add YouTube clips in it. So it was like a free playlist. I would obviously always go and search for playlists of Frank Ocean. And then in one of the playlists, it had his, oh my gosh, this side is so ugly. Like, because I can't see, and I'm like right-handed. There's this one playlist where it had Frank's songs from Nostalgia Ultra, which is not really like an album, but it was something that he had created before Channel Orange. And it was like a bunch of songs that he made from samples. So like American Wedding was sampled from Hotel California, the Eagles song. And there was this whole thing too of like the Eagles not appreciating what he had done. They said that they didn't like that he used Hotel California, or he can't use it unless he pays or something, which is like, okay. He also made his own version of Electric Feel by MGMT. The one song that made me so incredibly emotional from that album was Strawberry Swings. When I first heard that song, oh my god, I cried. There's something about songs, like love songs made in the context of the world ending, that just gets me. Like, I also cried when I watched the music video for One More Time by Ariana Grande, because it was like the apocalypse. I don't know, man, it gets me. Are you kidding? There's this one line there that was like, that really like made me bawl my fucking eyes out, and Arl can attest to this because he has seen it in real time. At first, he probably thought I was crazy when I was saying things like, oh yeah, this song will make me cry. I don't know if I've gotten better now because I haven't listened to it in a while. And if you guys listen to it as like poetry, you guys would probably feel the same. Because like he goes, Spaceships are lifting off of a dying world? Okay, paint me the picture, bitch. Millions are left behind while the sky burns. Just imagine that happening to you guys. Just imagine. How would you even go about the situation in your life knowing that the world is ending and you have a lover? That's so intense. It also makes me feel things. I don't know, maybe it's like my love of history and just knowing that people existed before me and this shit probably happened to them before. Pompeii, you guys, this is like what happened in like Mount Vesuvius. Anyways, and this next line is the one that really gets me every single time. It goes, there wasn't room for you and I, only you. There wasn't room for you and I, only you. Like, you sacrificed your spot in a spaceship? You would sacrifice your space? Really? There wasn't room for you and I, only you? I can't. I'm about to cry for real. I'm just saying it and it already makes me feel so emotional. The whole song makes me cry, honestly, but that one was my favorite part. But there's also like just and that comes falling on my lawn. I should say, and you should hear, I've loved the good times here. I've loved the times here. I'm literally like, I don't know if you guys can see my eyes. I'm like crying. It always gets me. I don't know why, but yeah. Anyways, all that talk for Nostalgia Ultra, and we still haven't even gone to like the actual 20s part of this, because those albums I started listening to when I was a teenager. The ones that got released after I turned 18 was Blonde. So when I was listening to Channel Orange and Nostalgia Ultra, it was like world building. There was a world in it. But Blonde seemed like very, very frank. Like, this is the life that he had. And of course, I have my favorites there. The two songs that really get me emotional are White Ferrari and Self-Control. Forrest Gump is so special to me. Like, it's part of my movies that changed my life. Here's a fun fact. Frank Ocean and SZA both have references to Forrest Gump in their songs. There's this one song from Control where SZA goes, you know, Jenny almost gave it all up for him. I think it's like Doves in the Wind. So I just love that. I love that. And the next magical musical thing that changed my life is obviously Lana Del Rey. During 2011 to 2015, the music that she released from 2011 to 2015 really shaped the way who I am now. Like, just from aesthetics alone, like, that woman literally became my blueprint. When I'm an Aries, so I'm very loyal. If I find something that I really like and that I really enjoy and that has touched me in ways that I did not expect it to touch me, it's gonna be on rotation for the rest of my life. And that's why I keep saying that even though it's not really media that I discovered when I was 20s, it's media that I consumed heavily in my 20s. Her ability to be so poetic really gets me going. You can see the influence that she has on me is very evident. So the next thing that changed my life was Lemonade. Specifically, the song Sorry. Again, 2016, this album came out. This album came out again at the most perfect time because I was going through it. We all know the story behind Lemonade, okay? A bitch was angry. Like, she was mad at her husband. I'm just a man hater in general. Lemonade really helped me be angry. I'm the type of person that I don't really like confrontations. I try to avoid confrontation and being angry all the time because it's so tiring. But honestly, when you keep bottling things up like that, it's not good for you. Keep it cute, you keep it classy. This has gotten to be so cute, you guys. Oh! I know I probably didn't do a good job at the back, but honestly, the back is none of my business. Anyways, Lemonade changed my life and helped me come to terms with how I handle my emotions and how, you know, you can be so creative still and still keep it classy, but also call out the injustices in your life. And before I round out the list of 5 things, I would just want to quickly put out some like honorable mentions and like artists like Childish Gambino, Jhené Aiko, and Kali Uchis. They really like helped also shape the way that I listen to music and how I consume music. So now the last thing that I want to talk about is someone that I actually did start listening to in my 20s and only recently too, which is Miss Chapel fucking Rome. Okay, this one, I'm glad that my hair's done because this one I can get down on your face about. So I know that Chapel Roan's music is obviously from her experiences as, you know, a queer woman and going through the motions of like being from a small town, and you can't really express who you are in a way that you would think, oh, you're gonna be heavily accepted right away. Like, you know, you have to prove something first. And so that was her whole lore behind her music, was that she pursued something and let go of a lot of things in her life. She had an ex-boyfriend before, and she just like completely went for her dream. However crazy her dream was, she just went for it. And I know it's like an allegory to being a part of the LGBT community and just letting go of all the hang-ups you have in your life and just living your truth. But to me, as a cis straight person, I know I can't help but also relate to her in a way that is kind of not really the same, but not really different, but the same as everyone else. She always says she grew up in a very small town, very like country, Midwest, obviously, and like she's a Midwestern princess. There are stereotypes against her during that time where she's like fully straight and she's supposed to be this religious girl and she's just gonna do this and not really pursue a career in pop music. And it's kind of like the same way as I am before. I have always just been this very quiet person. I don't really speak unless I'm spoken to growing up, because I don't like taking up space. I don't like being perceived as that. I don't like being perceived as makulit or papansin, or just, you know, I was very well trained. You know, when I moved to America, I was kind of like, you know, I'm gonna say I was like a model minority. I don't take pride in that actually, but I feel like a lot of people weren't threatened by my existence, and so I didn't experience any sort of bullying, or just I didn't experience bad things. People weren't threatened by me, but also people weren't excited by me. They weren't wanting to be friends with me. Well, that's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought. But yeah, that's what I felt, that's what I thought, that's what it looked like, because I was just so quiet. So I would just be friends with like the people who would approach me first, or who are like really nice, that I know I can trust, that they won't suddenly bully me. And I'm very, very happy that I had those friends in high school. And what really shocks me to this day is a lot of people from, not a lot, but wow, a lot. Wow. Some people from my high school back in America have messaged me and said that they thought I was cool. I thought that they were cool. I was scared of talking to them because I thought in my mind they were cool, and they were cool in a way that they honestly taught me so many things that are not taught in like movies. A friend of mine is the one that showed me RuPaul's Drag Race, and another friend was like so cool that she reminded me of like the teenagers in Skins, but like better because they weren't like toxic. And a lot of them also taught me like how to be more accepting, just letting people be. Something that I attribute to the people that I met in America. They had made me be so open-minded about so many things. And I'm glad I have a good head on my shoulders because I took those learnings from them and, you know, also put in my values as well. It just made for a very woke Azzy. Kind of really felt like how Chapo was feeling beforehand, before she dropped everything and became who she really is and who she really wanted to be. Even my friends today, the ones that I've met through drag communities and events, they would joke around and be like, oh yeah, I thought Ate Azzy was this very rich girl, parang she wouldn't be down to do all these things with us, like she wouldn't get down with us. But like, I want to get down. I want to be with people who would accept me for who I am, which is like, you know, I want to be flamboyant sometimes, I want to be crazy sometimes, I want to show off my humor a lot. I still wasn't taking up space. And even when I came back to the Philippines in 2015 and I started college here in La Salle, I was becoming more of who I am, starting to engage in things that I like, but I still couldn't be who I truly am, which is Kikai, because I don't know if you guys know this, but back in the day, in like the 2010s, the pick me thing was like the most prevalent thing. You can't be too much. You can't like make up too much. You can't do your hair a lot. Before I went to America, my school was so strict. You can't even have like, you can't put on makeup. You can't do your hair a certain way. But still, there were so many rules. And I was a really good rule follower. I was very obedient. But ever since I graduated from college, I stopped feeling the need to perform and become who I am surrounded with. I love everyone that I've met. I'm very thankful for everyone that I've met. But it was like I was basically performing. I was pretending to be this like, because you know, the image of a Lasallian is just like, oh, you're rich, oh, you're this. And then add the fact that I came from America like right away, so people have this like perception of me. And then when it broke, it was just like, who is this girl? Like, who am I? Like, if I'm not this and I'm not that, then who am I? You know, there was like a big disparity in my identity. But I was able to, you know, go back to my roots and enjoy who I really am, which is this. I started attending drag shows and it really gave me the confidence to be who I really am, which is so OA, okay? It's so OA, but I've always been an advocate for doing what you want. If you're not hurting anyone, doing what you want, wearing what you want, putting on makeup however you want. And yeah, that whole scene has changed me. Which then now comes Miss Chapel Roan, and she has the same sort of ideals like that. She went to this like bar in Hollywood that literally like changed her life so much that she started writing songs about it and flipping her entire life because of that one whole experience for her, which is the same for me. So when I started listening to Chapel Roan's music, I felt the kinship and I felt the relatability in it in a way that's like, dang girl, same. But yeah, so that was that. I hope you guys like this video. I just did my hair for this one. Next ones, maybe I'll do the movies lists and all the other media that I have consumed that changed my life in some other time. Thank you guys so much for watching.